Alright, so here I'm ready to start setting up my first Sparks Power Grid playthrough. Throwing the players together, giving them each an herbs card in order, whatever, and put little meeples or whatever in their locations. Now, you'll notice here it says 3, so there's 3 bears, 4 berries, etc. It's got a nice little cue to help you remember what goes where. But here's a fail for the game right off. So in the instructions on how to put your number of pieces, and by the way, the fact that the preparation is here and then there's a second 2-player preparation, not well distinguished. I want scenarios to be kind of in a separate place from the rest of the rules, not just a run-on of all the same graphic garbage. There's a space on landscape tiles that doesn't tell you what you need, how many you get, where you get them. Here what it says is, depending on the number of players, choose the correct number of landscape tiles. Nowhere does it tell you how many that correct number is. Okay. Use the boards on page 4. Great. Okay, so I go to page 4. And it tells me how to give 3, 4, and 5-player games. It doesn't tell me 2. But 2, we assumed, well, there's sort of a 3-player game. So we'll play a 3-player game there. There's no 6-player selection there. So I don't know how many boards there are for 6. Now, with a little bit of intuition, okay, 3 players is 3, 4 players is 4, 5 players is 5. The correct number is the same number. Okay? Sometimes translations are a little tricky, you know. Maybe Germans don't have different words for those two things or something. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to start laying these down. Now, in terms of strategy for this, what do you do? You know, I mean, you're sitting here, maybe you have the, there's a cool thing or whatever, but I don't even know what's going to happen, right? Order of play at the beginning of the game. Have to look back here in the supply thing and maybe see somewhere it'll say what the order of play that was chosen at the beginning of the game is. Playground starts with the placement, but it doesn't tell you who goes. Yeah. So here it tells you how to determine player order after you spread your clan at the beginning of the game. But somewhere buried in here, I'm sure it's going to tell me the one piece of information I need. I don't like, you know, ooh, there's special rules for the 6-player game. Hold on. For 6-player, one small change. After playing the technology, place the shuffle card and the Tech 15. Okay, so the Tech 15 card is going to go on the top. And I have not done that. I've got to pull that out and put it there. Yeah. But let's try to see, you know. And yeah, we're just not finding it here. And you know, for such a small rule book, you'd think it wouldn't be too hard, right? Somewhere in here it's got to be, but I mean, I'm going to have to go line by line through this thing, reread the entire rule book to find out the answer to my question. That's what I call a wonderfully laid out rule book. No? Let's go. So after digging through a number of rules, I found where it is. Somewhere in here in the preparation. Afterwards, the player with the highest, you know, halfway down in a paragraph, the highest, and it's not a huge paragraph, but it's wide, so it's hard to look to just scan the page and find the easy thing. I've always said, nice little columns, much better. Anyway, in numbers. Anyway, what it turns out to be is it's going to be the normal ordering, which is the person with the highest number card, because nobody's got anybody on the board, or they all have the same amount. However you want to do it. It's going to not get the first draw. No, it doesn't work that way, I don't think. The first player. Oh, no, it is the first player. Because later, with spreading, the person who gets the first choice is going to be the last player. So the first player gets one of these. And what he wants to do, I guess, he's just going to play it on the board because he doesn't have any choice, right? He's the first player. His piece is there. So the second player is the yellow player. Now, what he's looking at here is, I'm not going to get to pick until late, but I'll get to grow first or second out of everyone with a choice. So I'll look at my piece. And it looks like lots of stuff. Putting lots of stuff together for easy growth seems like a good idea to me. Now to the black player. Black's in a similar position. Doesn't necessarily want to combine things up. What I can look at is what these cards are. And maybe the 15 would be nice to see too. Let's dig that up if I can find it, because I know where that's going to be on the top. Everything else is kind of random. 15 is going to be in a second fire. So these are going to have to get reshuffled. But, and then this will go on top. But, you know, what I see, a couple of fields, a couple of baskets that'll be available early. Only one bow, only one spear, only one fishing pond. Baskets could be useful. I'm gonna put this kind of like that. I think that's kind of cool. So that's the third player. Fourth player gets to pick one. This is the white player. Now he's at a point where he's gonna get to play his first one kind of early, but he doesn't really get a choice on his second one that's terribly useful. So he's gonna go for kind of a spreading out, more of a mixed thing. Second player, fish and mammoths. Now he could kind of, you know, put the fish and mammoth together and make a world of those. What's the chances of getting one of them? Fairly high. Actually, I think he will do just that. Now, these may be bad choices. And we got a berries and bears. You gotta love berries and bears, don't you? Alright. Well, bears are not a bad food source, but they're no better than fishies. How's clustering bears? Does that make sense to anyone? Maybe, maybe not. I'll just throw that out here. And there we've got our board for the game. Okay, so now what? Well, everybody's going to have one piece in the one space. I'm not going to worry too much about setting that up right now. What I am going to worry about, though, is the first player has to play first. What does he want? Well, he says, mammoths are the best thing on the board. I want to be kind of centralized. Fish are kind of nice. Bears are kind of nice. I'm going to put my first guy here. And now he gets a piece here. Everybody's going to get one there. Red. Red says, I probably can't guarantee the mammoth that he's going for, but I can guarantee the second best thing, which is either fish or bears. Price-wise, about the same. I like the bear better, but let's get our numbers up, because those are of interest to me. So we've got the whole board here. There are 3 mammoths, and there's only 1 growing per turn, so I need the 4 mammoth marker. And that's on the back of here. Now, sadly, it goes the wrong way to fit there. If it's facing the other way, it fits perfectly, and somebody actually dissed it on this in a review. I think it's kind of sad. It looks prettier if it fits perfectly, I guess. Likewise, with bears, we've got 3 base bears. Lots of bears. And 3 more, that means we've got a 6 bear piece. Berries. 6 base berries. 3 more, that puts us to 9 berries. I don't know if there's going to be 9. Oh, there it is. I thought I was going to have to put a 6 upside down and say that's a 9. And fishies, we got 4 of them, and 3 more says 7 fishies. And indeed, there's a 7 fish piece. Okay, so that's how many are going to show up each turn, which means because of the large number of people, there's a lot of stuff showing up. Great. All right, well, Red looks at fishies and bears and says, fishies grow faster than bears. I like the idea of fish, but I'm going to put myself here. I don't want to be right in there. I don't want to challenge him right away. Now White says, all right, fish are gone. Let's throw ourselves here. Good balanced space. Now, Black is saying, okay, everybody's kind of claimed something out. Well, let's look, what do we want to claim out? What do we want here? We don't know. We really don't know. But nobody's taken the berries. Let's put ourselves in a berry space. Now, this is kind of cut off with nothing but bears near it. That doesn't sound like a pleasant place to be. This one, on the other hand, has lots of choices. Bears are kind of far away. He has to pay extra to go into this space, so it's cheaper to go like that. But that's okay. He's got both fish and mammoths there. So that's appealing. Now we're starting to get to the bottom of the rope here. Yellow's next. What does he want? You know, it's kind of the let's find someplace that's pleasing to go. This isn't a bad space. It's got a lot of different things near it, a lot of expansion opportunities. And finally, Blue, again, wants to find something kind of flexible. This isn't a terrible space. I kind of like this one better. But mammoths may not be easy for Blue to get. Of course, if he doesn't expand, maybe they will. All right, but now he has the choice to expand right away. And everybody's got some food at the beginning of the game. How much? Well, we got to look that up. To show the food supply, put the correct tiles. The food supply is dependent on the number. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, so like many things, this is going to take me a while to find out, I think. Right? $7 food each. Okay. So this is important because this is what you're going to buy your initial starting cards with, and it's what you do your spreading with. And it's hard to do this one-handed, I fear. Now, that's clever design. Everybody's got they've got the exact right number, right? It would suck if somebody had to take all greens. So now here's the thing. If Blue does not spread, they've got one piece on the board. But you know, I think it's for the best for Blue to indeed spread. And they're going to pay $1 or 1 food to advance into there, and that's their second piece. Let's go to Yellow. How does Yellow feel about spreading? Yellow's in a bear space. They'd like to get more into the center of things, so they're going to pay 1 and toss somebody into this other mammoth space. Now we're on Black. And again, claiming territories is kind of important because you pay less if you're grabbing empty ones. So it's kind of, you kind of don't want to spend too much to enter an area, so you want to grab them early. But then again, that money may be important to you. But it's not that important. You're only allowed to buy 1 of these cards, and none of them cost much. If you don't buy a card, you're going to be spoiling your food. If you do buy a card, you're going to be spoiling your food. You might as well expand. It's not costing you much. Because you can't bid, you can't save your money, you can't hoard it. Let's go to Black. Well, I think this opens things up the most for black. This would be another good option, but again, the expansion seems important. And he's got a little dude. How about white? Now, here, as people are starting to see, their territories get eaten up, it becomes more and more of an imperative feeling to actually expand. Here's another thing. You're early in the chart, you might as well expand. Everybody else has already. You're not losing anything to do so. It's the early guys who had the choice and really had to make that decision not to. Now red, of course, could get the jump on green. He doesn't want that, though. He's going to take a cheap space as well. Although taking the cheap space may not be the wisest thing. If you're the kind of person who can calculate in advance and do all that kind of math type stuff, and really likes to do it, you could probably say, I'm going to be able to get that card. I just know it. Because really, you can make that decision. Of course, other people could pass, and you might not be able to make that judgment correctly. And finally, green, well, they want to expand as well. They don't want to get stuck behind everyone. The question is, this way that doesn't really help them, or this way which gets them closer to the bears. I don't think there's much question there. And we forgot to put a red one out. So now everybody's in the 2 space. The order of play stays exactly the same, because it's still based on these cards, and everybody moved their way up to the 2 space. So where are we now? Well, we're about ready to start the game. And this is a good place for me to stop, because it's my bedtime. And I'll be back in the morning before work, because I'm boned into having to start work, 2 hours after they dump steel on me. Alright.